Well, that was a simulator, a projector, and software package. No. I just ordered that. The program I think we can take
You ready? Welcome to this evening's meeting of the Westerville City Schools Board of Education. We're delighted you all decided to join us tonight. The agenda will be displayed on the screens in the front of the room for you to follow along. And there will be two opportunities tonight to address the board this evening. The first being Agenda Item 6.1. The first set of public comments is relative to Agenda Item 7.1 through 11.2. Please state the agenda items you're referencing at the beginning of your comments. The second opportunity is Agenda Item 12.1. There is a sign-up sheet located on the table in the back of the room, and each speaker will have 5 minutes to address the board. And a timer will be shown on the screen. And with that, Ms. Marshall, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Bell?
Here.
Dr. Nestor Baker? Ms. Cotter?
Here.
Mr. Velarde?
Here.
Mrs. Davidson?
Here. Will you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we do not have any district highlights tonight. 4.1, May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Board of Education held on Monday, August 26, 2019?
So moved.
Oh, second.
Any comments, questions here? Okay.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Ms. Cotter?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson?
Yes. And up first, our reports. 5.1 is summer school report. Dr. Ebrecht and Mr. Reeves, and we're super excited about this.
Madam President, members of the board, I'd like to thank you for allowing me to come back once more to talk about summer and our success. So we're going to do a very quick overview of what we did. There's a lot of data in here. As you know, we're pretty data-driven in the summer. And so just bear with me here as we go through this. We have also, I should point out, a number of people here from our summer program that, without the personnel, you can't go anywhere. So I want to make sure that we acknowledge Greg Mantoniques, who runs our summer middle school program, Katie Worthland, who was in our science STEM-related program, which is also art-related. It's more of a STEAM program, if you will, that A meaning art. We have Deb Bergman from our EL department who did some awesome things. I'll show you a picture of what she did. We have Steve Rovtar, who was our high school administrator. Rhonda Hoffman, who kind of was the administrator in charge, if you will, my assistant. And she did wonderful things. And also Matt Wolf, who was head of the theater department, which we'll talk about here in a minute as well. So it's a K through 12 program. We also focus on some preschool program. There's 5 areas of focus for 2019. It was to maintain that middle school enrollment. You'll remember a couple years ago in which we really increased our enrollment due to the STEAM activities that we did. And we really, it's one of those where, you have a great first year, but can you maintain that momentum? We also wanted to make sure we provided that targeted instruction for our grade 3 students who, with third grade reading guarantee, that we wanted to get them over the hump so they could be promoted to 4th grade. We also realized that despite increased enrollment, especially in our K-3 program, how could we maintain our program but without increasing our expenditures? Mr. Hershiser always appreciates when I do that, as does Dr. Kellogg, and I know the board does as well. And then how can we support our high school students to continue to earn credit back or even advance credit? And then this whole concept of what could we do to bring the 3 high schools together and have a summer theater program that would be phenomenal. So, at the very beginning, we believe in providing opportunities and ensuring that all students have an opportunity to participate in the program. And so Neighborhood Bridges has been a tremendous community partner in many ways, but Rick Bannister is here as well, so we acknowledge his efforts with Neighborhood Bridges. And without them, there would have been some students that didn't go. And we provide scholarship dollars. There are dollars that each student does pay, some portion of the cost of the tuition, but they help subsidize through some scholarship dollars. And you can see we had a 56% increase in donations through Neighborhood Bridges. That's phenomenal. And hopefully we can continue that momentum in the years to come. So we thank our community, because without our community, we wouldn't even get close to that. And that did have a significant impact, as you can see, on students. Our high school program, we maintain our ability to provide students $400 to advance credits, $100 if they want to recover credit. You can see our enrollment numbers have pretty much stayed on point. Students who advance credit compared to students who recover credit. Attendance matters, and this is a sticky point. I need to continue to focus on what we can do differently. We've been talking about this in our district leadership team, which Juliet Peoples facilitates for us. And we've got to continue to get better at this. One of the reasons why students fail is attendance. So in the summertime, they do pay for the credit, but unfortunately they continue to go back into the same patterns of non-attendance. And of course we do everything with fidelity, and we're not going to give credit away if you're not there present doing the work. So we had students, and you can see here 39 students failed. Of that, 22 students missed 15 out of 30 days. So if you miss half the school experience, don't know that you're going to be able to pass the course. So what can we do? And we're trying to determine strategies moving forward to address that. And I think through our district leadership team, we'll be able to do that. I celebrate the fact that we have Credit Flex. Yes, I'm sorry.
So that was high schoolers, correct?
Yes, that was just high school.
Do we provide transportation, or do they provide it?
Yeah, many years ago, the board chose to provide us fiscal dollars to provide transportation. We used to only provide it for grades K through 5.
Right.
Then we expanded it to K through 8. Then the board chose to extend it to K through 12.
Okay.
So we provide transportation. So thank you for asking that. We're kind of in a rinse and repeat cycle. We've done this for several years, so I don't want to go over, but thank you for that clarifying question. But yeah, we provide transportation K through 12 for all students, which is a significant dollar amount. But at the same time, that was one of the intervention strategies we used to try to take attendance off the table.
Okay, yeah.
So, at some point, it becomes a student choice whether or not they attend or not. Especially when we're taking a bus directly to their home, okay, or in close proximity.
Sure.
All right. So Credit Flex applications, Rhonda Hoffman helps facilitate that, but you can see how her job just in 2 years has really grown from processing 129 in 2017 to now 289 just in one summer. What that tells me is students are exploring a lot of options to advance credit. We give credit within our own district, but we also have gone out and identified several other places that students can go to depending upon what they choose to do. And we actually vet the curriculum to make sure it's aligned with what we do, and we will accept the credit. So before a student even begins the course, we have vetted the curriculum to ensure that we will give the credit to the student if they successfully pass that course. So it's great that we are providing those options, and our school counselors are really good, and we're enhancing our work at providing options for kids, not only in our district, but outside of the district through different vendors, if you will. And you can see, granted, of all those PE health, 28% 28% of all the CFAs were PE and health related. You can see our high school enrollment, specifically in mathematics, a number of students, especially in Algebra 2 over time, and Algebra 1. And you can see the effects of the physical education, the PE waiver that we instituted back between 2014 and 15. You can see the drastic reduction of 334 down to 101, et cetera. So this is where I'd ask Matt Wolf to step forward here just for a minute. I wanted to ask Matt to speak to you tonight. He's the only one among these wonderful people that are here that will speak tonight. But the crazy for you, our community was crazy for this production, and I was amazed that in the amount of time they had to prepare, they pulled off what they did. And the whole production is on YouTube, so if you didn't go get a ticket, you can still see it. We had to have like royalties for that or something. But it was phenomenal. The cast, the crew, the orchestra. I've never seen a pit orchestra with that many people in it in a summer program. So I just want Matt to kind of high-level talk to you about what was the effect on our kids during this.
Well, thank you. Obviously, this board has been very generous and kind to theater and the arts in Westerville. I've been a benefactor of that, and I'm very appreciative of it. This summer was an amazing summer, not only bringing the three schools together in terms of the personnel and the people who do our own programs all year, but bringing the students together. What was incredible is that over the span of June and July, we had students who had to navigate not being with their typical friends, students that had to navigate getting to know other people, working with other people, learning to trust one another, and then pulled together a show at a higher level. We moved a little faster. We had higher expectations of the production and their conduct. Aside from the cast, we also included students in the orchestra pit, and we also obviously had a student tech crew. And so together, those students created something really special, but what has been really great is the after effects of the show. This past weekend, South had its first had its first showing of our first production this year, and they had a Westerville theater night where they invited North and Central to come in full force, and the show sold out. Then afterward, there was a huge group picture that all three of the theater groups posted on social media with the turnover with Kim Mollahan at North. The officers, the students have elected to get together on their own to meet and help to make sure that North is on its feet and is not missing any of the activities and things we do. And so, as always, theater is something that unifies people. It's a good, strong activity for students that don't have that in other avenues of their life, be it athletics or academics in some other way. And so this summer ended up being a really it helped solidify that for me, that how important it is to have the arts in schools and make sure that students are engaged in something that they believe in and that they want to work really hard in. So I appreciate the support and the outpouring of the amount of people that came. So we're hopeful that this is something we can continue to pick bigger titles, to fill the house, to make sure that we sell the tickets we need to sell, and keep having sort of the high level of instruction so that the students are learning something beyond what they would typically learn throughout the school year. So thank you.
That's why I had Matt speak to that, because he got to see it every day, and the residual effect now throughout the next few months I think is going to be tremendous. So thanks, Matt, for sharing. So our grade 4 through 8 intervention program, we also had an increase in numbers as well, a 16% increase, and again we kept the budget the same. We continued our community partnerships. We had that summer STEAM at the shop, and we continued to support. This is our second year of the upcoming Pumpkin Glow, which will be here in October, the week before Halloween, trick or treat in our community, and that's going to be a tremendous event. And you can see here, Deb Bergman, with her English learners, did a whole unit, thematic unit, around the solar system and different opportunities there. You can see where the students carved into what are called pumpkins and did some and created this whole scene, and those scenes will actually be at this event. And it was from our English learners, and if you were there, I know Scott Reeves and Dr. Kellogg were able to see this, and when you turn the lights off and you see those pumpkins start, and then you see the smile on the kids' faces, there isn't anything better, because it's something they produced, and it definitely fit with the standards that were being taught. So wanted to highlight Deb and what she was doing. Also, there was a big article in the newspaper about the STEAM project that you may have seen, and those are also, Katie's also on YouTube with videos of explaining that program as well. So our elementary program, we continued to see an increase. We went from 300 to 365 students. Did I mention we didn't increase the budget? Okay. But we did that, 22% increase, very successfully. With our third grade reading guarantee, we had a 55% increase. We started with 20 students. 11 of those were able to get over the hump. 9 students we continued to work with. A couple did pass within the first week of school, the alternative assessment. So we whittled it all the way down. I think we ended up getting down to 7 students that we're still working with for them to meet the third grade reading guarantee. But when you start with an N of around 1,300 students and you whittle it down to 7, I'm very proud of that statistic. Yes, we won 100%, but we went from 1,300 down to 7. And so we're very, always can get better, but that's that piece. And then we can also document growth in our reading performance level as well as in mathematics. You can see just over 4 weeks, students average in grades 2 through 3 averaged 3.5 month growth with targeted intervention in reading, for example. Almost kindergarten, I always say that they're starfish, okay? And we're a small program, but we're mighty with this one. We had 13 students for the very first time. They had never stepped foot in a school classroom. They have no preschool experience. And for those 13 students, during that week, they learned how to do school so that when they showed up on the first day, they knew what was going to be expected of them. And more importantly, the parents did, okay? Because parents, we also help them transition their child to kindergarten as well, so, and themselves. So with that, we continue to, next year, we are already thinking, and we're going to do more stuff over at North, specifically at that land lab with the pond utilization. We have a whole thematic unit that we're going to do around fishing and kids creating bobbers and fishing poles, and hopefully we eat well then, okay? But, well, not necessarily out of the land lab, I guess. But we look forward to that experience. There's the thoughts are rolling. And I love it that when you end your program, and I call people like Katie Worthland, Scott Delegati up and said, hey, here's an idea. Now we're going to do this in 12 months, and they're super excited after just getting done with what they just did. So that's what I had to share. So any questions or clarification from the board? Whew. That's a lot of data in there.
Could you go back about 4 slides to the slide that is headed K-3 Elementary Summer Intervention?
Yes.
By necessity, you blew through this, and I get it. I know you didn't want to. I don't want us to lose sight of that slide. The fact that it was 300, 365, and the fact that about 50% in all grades English language learners. That is so important at this age for them to feel more and more and more comfortable in classroom settings and practicing their interaction and community building with other students in the free and reduced also, total about 50% as well. Tremendous stuff all the way through there. Matt, you ended yours with that you said it convinced you the importance of the fine arts in school, this summer program. Well, we all know that's not true. You were convinced of that way before, but we appreciate you saying it that way.
Further convinced.
That it further, and that's just huge. And all of you, listen, I don't think we can understate. I don't think we can overstate how important this is. The recovery. And I'm struggling with the attendance thing too. I hope you guys just keep kind of digging into that, see what it is. It's apparently not transportation. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know. There's family dynamics. There's all kind of dynamics. But I didn't want to move off that slide.
Deb Bergman was talking about, she worked with the English learners, and so she's been able to carry those relationships forward into this school year because some of the students she now, in the summer, she now has.
Yeah.
So they went into a relationship, and just I'm hearing a lot of stories about those kids feeling success, and that's only then continues into the school year.
And catching them here, K-3. It is scary to not know the language. It is scary, and it's really scary for a K-3 kid. And it's scary for a kid to come out of a kind of a poverty situation. And you all are just trying to tell them school is a good place, a safe place, a caring place. So, we can call it summer school, but it's really impacting some lives. I hope you all know that.
I was just wondering, maybe you had in the slides, but a couple of them went a little quickly for me. With the attendance, is it mostly at the high school level, or is that an issue throughout the different grade levels for summer school?
I would say it's probably the most impact area is at the high school level with attendance. When kids get to be 17, 18 years old, some other things take precedence in their lives, and also some people get, they just don't want to. That motivation is a big factor. So what can we do to re-engage? We contact families, we contact parents, we reach out. So we need to continue to figure out ways, maybe it's even coming down to home visits in the summertime, to address those factors.
I think, what you guys are offering is really valuable, and one thing that, I've heard has been successful in some other situations is automated texting, like texting reminders, just something to think about.
So I always love to hear you present. You're always so positive and share good data, and if there are kinks that needed worked out, you address those right away. The collaboration that went on this summer, I am so excited about within the schools, within our community, Neighborhood Bridges. We are so grateful. I'm so grateful that our kids are getting to know each other and collaborating and then supporting one another. That's huge. And as I sit here tonight and I see our educators, and just they're here with smiles on their face. They're proud of what they've done. And if the kids felt that every day, how amazing. So thank you. Thank you so much for all that you do. We are so grateful.
Thank you. We're blessed in Westerville to be here, and for a board, also kudos back to the board for supporting us. Not every community school district has a summer learning program, so we thank the board as well as Dr. Kellogg for managing up. And Dr. Kellogg was a huge supporter and kind of the impetus for our theater program. So somewhere in him is a big theater guy. He should have a part next year if we do this, okay?
Oh, no.
Okay. So maybe Mr. Hershiser.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All righty. Moving on. Public comments. We do not have any this evening, which takes us to financial 7.1. May I have a motion to approve the insurance carrier and rates for medical, dental, and vision insurance for calendar year 2020?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Marshall?
Yes, President Davidson, members of the board, I am excited. I'm going to say that again. I'm excited to present to you the insurance carrier and rates for the calendar year 2020. So most importantly, our health insurance, the premium increase for this year is 2.5%, which is a huge deal for us. Everyone else is seeing about a 9% increase, so we're in a very good situation with our health plan. The dental plan, we're seeing an increase of 5.7%, which was anticipated since we didn't see an increase last year. And our vision plan is no increase for the calendar year 2020. But I want to go back to the health plan and just kind of talk about a couple of things. We moved to a self-insurance fund in 2013, and as of the end of fiscal year 2019, we were able to reserve $7.9 million, which is a savings to the district because of that move. 15% of that was related to a council of governments that was created between Westerville City Schools, Upper Arlington City Schools, Dublin, and Worthington Schools. So the four treasurers and we get together about once a month and review the plan. It's for stop-loss insurance, and it saved the district about 15% during that time frame. We have an insurance trust committee that meets monthly during the school year that's constantly reviewing things that we can do to make our insurance more affordable for the district and for the employees. And one of the things that they approved in 2017 was enhancing the prescription program, so adding like prior authorizations, quantity limits, generic incentives, and things like that, which has saved over $200,000 in that time. And then last but not least, our bargaining units during the last round of negotiations made some concessions. We increased deductibles and out-of-pocket maximums, and we've seen a savings of nearly $500,000 since that time, thanks to those changes. So I'll say it again, I'm excited. I was anticipating a 9% increase. Working with our actuarial and where we are today with claims and everything, we're at 2.5% for next year, so it's very good news for us.
It's fabulous.
Do you guys have any questions about that? All right. Ms. Cotter?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Velarde?
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson?
Yes. Personnel consent agenda. And 8.1 through 8.9. May I have a motion?
Second.
Dr. Hopkins?
Good evening, President Davidson, members of the board, Dr. Kellogg. I'd like to present for your consideration tonight's personnel consent agenda. Given this time of year, it's a relatively light consent agenda. We're excited to have so many of our awesome teachers that you got to see earlier this evening, as well as many others, and it's been great. I know Dr. Kellogg and I and others have been going around visiting, and it really is exciting to see the energy and the passion that both our experienced and our new teachers are bringing to our community and our students. We have a total of 11 resignations from various classified and classified substitute positions. We have just a couple of one-time payments for staff who have participated in professional development. We also have the employment of 16 individuals to a number of classified and classified substitute positions. And finally, in the license employment section, we, again, around this time of year, are employing a number of people to various classified pupil activity program positions. Happy to answer any questions you may have for me at this time.
Seeing none.
Mr. Velarde?
Yes.
Ms. Cotter?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson?
Yes. Okay, we do not have any old business or new business, which takes us to standing business. 11.1, a resolution to approve an MOU with Westerville Education Support Staff Association. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Hopkins?
Okay, thank you. Just to give you a little bit of background on this MOU, this Memorandum of Understanding adds the Google certification to the other certifications that members from WESA may receive a supplement for acquiring. Given the increasing use of Google across the district, we believe that this additional certification, which I might add is very comprehensive and very difficult to obtain and to continue to sustain, will bring great value to our students, staff, and community.
Thank you.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Ms. Cotter?
Yes.
Mr. Velarde?
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson?
Yes. 11.2, overnight and out-of-state field trips. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments here? Looks like Westerville North is going to Indianapolis.
It looks like the wrestling team is going to a Big Ten college visit. Is that what it's for? To kind of take the wrestling team to kind of do that? That's a great idea.
Yeah, I believe there's a alum from North who's wrestling there as well, so they'll get an up close and personal, get to see that connection. It's a good trip.
Okay.
Ms. Cotter?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Velarde?
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson?
Yes. We do not have any public comments, which takes us to board comments. And who would like to go first? Anybody? Any takers? Okay. That takes us to 14.1. The board will meet in regular session on Monday, September 23rd, 2019, and Monday, October 14th, 2019, at 6 p.m. here at the Early Learning Center.